Howdy, my name is Jaron Johnson, and this is my third speech. Growing up in a rural community in Texas was truly a blessing and truly just very grateful for looking back on the times that I had. I just remember um, just the great community that I had and just showing up after a long day of school or a long day of football practice and being greeted with either a bag of fresh baked cookies or a warm loaf just from my neighbors down the street that just out of the kindness of their heart would bless thought they'd be a blessing to give this to us. Another thing this looked like was just a couple houses down. I had a family friend that actually offered me a job going into my freshman year of high school, and I worked there all 4 years of high school, and actually was able to buy a car my senior year because of just his generosity and just his willingness to be active in our community and open up just jobs to just our community, and very thankful and very grateful for that. And looking back and thinking about just my community and my neighborhood, I want you to think about your community today. And do you think that you would call your neighborhood active and involved? Um, because being an engaged citizen starts at your front door. If we want to build stronger communities and communities that are compassionate and passionate about serving one another, loving one another, and just being an active community, it starts with us and it starts with being present, being empathetic, and being active. Because community engagements are declining because we are becoming lazy and individualistic and less social. And just going moving on to my first point, um, since the 1970s, we've seen a drastic decline of community involvement. And in 1970, 1 in 3 Americans um, could could rely on their neighbors, and that has now decreased significantly. And according to the Harvard Press, participation in clubs, religious groups, and neighborhood activities have just sharply declined, mostly because of just increased technology in our homes and everyone just being glued to their phones. And moving on to our second point, neighborhoods are our first line of help in a crisis. Um, your neighbors are one of the most valuable resources and assets that you have as someone who may have mental or physical or emotional problems. Your neighbors are the closest to you that anyone else is. And so they are just a phone call away or just a walk over away. And so you want those people to be someone you can rely on in a dire situation. And Great American City article says that neighborhoods with higher collective efficiency are stronger and safer. And just what that means is neighbors that you can trust and that are more involved ultimately make the community stronger and safer. And you may be asking yourself, what does an engaged citizen do? What does a person who is engaged into their community, what does that look like? And Cricket defines it as someone who is involved in debate, deliberation, and also shared responsibility for community well-being. And just being the neighbor that others want to be and taking action, whether that be just starting a neighbor cleanup or just a block party or just having something where you and your neighbors can come together and just do something for the community, giving back to the community because the community has given you things already. And thirdly, how to be the neighbor you want. And first, just comes with learning who your neighbors are and who your neighbors truly are, and whether that be like by greeting them, inviting them to dinner, asking questions, just something, things like that, because um, we don't do that enough, and we truly don't trust our neighbors enough. And the Pew Research Center says that only 50, about 52% of people trust their neighbors and trust just the people right next to them. And I'm about to show um, just a visual aid that to help And so this is what a neighborhood looked like back in the 1970s. And this was just a very active community that just hosted lunches and just did things that brought the community together and made them feel more involved. And just this is just kind of a um, certain elements of what a healthy community looked like, whether that be just access to care, transportation, just safety, or just very community driven, what through parks and recreation, or just through the building up and the looking out for the welfare of the community. And this, what I referenced earlier in my first point, just talking about the neighborhood engagement from 1970s to today. And just you can see how evident the decline is in each of these points, knowing your neighbors well, trusting your neighbors, volunteering locally, and just a very drastic decline. And just to end with, being the neighbor that you wish you had, that you wish you had around you. Because imagine if everyone made it a goal this week to go meet one neighbor or just go to talk to one of your neighbors around you and just give them a listening ear. Give them just the time of day and really truly try to invest in their lives and invest in who they are as people. And then imagine that ripple effect. Imagine just if you did that and then the neighbors that you talk to, they did that as well. And just how unified and how active that your community would become. Because you don't want to wait to become the neighbor that you wish you had or the community that you wish you had, but rather you need to go be active and start that change and start that lifestyle that that you want in your community and in your home because it starts with us. It truly does start with us. And so I encourage y'all to go talk to your neighbors. Go be the neighbor that you wish you had. And so with that, that is the end of my